Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you show me where on the doll he touched you? How are we all doing? We are alright? Who have we got so far? Steve? Yeah, mate. Hurried up. I know Strictly's on. And I didn't want to go against that in the ratings because their ratings are slightly better than mine. Although I've got a much better audience, obviously. Ewan, how you doing, mate? Pint of mild, of course, and a bag of pig itchings. No problem at all. Mandy, yes, and yes. Good. That's glad to hear it. I was having a few problems with the sound earlier. Hopefully it's alright now. There were one or two issues. Ewan's in the chat, but Jess won't be because she's a pain in the arse. She was driving earlier. It's my dad's birthday and he's a driving instructor. And even though he's 1 year older, after the lesson today he looks about 10 years older than normal. But she'll get there. He's a good instructor. She'll get there. At which point I won't be needing to pick her up anymore. She'll be picking me up from the pub or picking my dad up from the pub anyway because I don't go anymore, do I? Yeah, but there you go. Isn't it dark out? Isn't it dark out? I mean, out, it's dark, isn't it? Isn't it dark out? Only popped out earlier on just for 10 minutes. And by the time I got back, I had to have my lights on full beam because it was just ridiculous. So dark, so early. I mean, it's proper, it's night time out there now. And it's only 8 o'clock. Not too long ago, a few weeks ago, there'd be kids playing out this time of night. Not anymore. Far too dark. Although it's nicer today than it was yesterday. Goedenavond, hadden we. Happy birthday to my dad, yes. Big Bill, birthday today. He's delighted he's got a big stash of wine, so that'll be him sorted for a while. Yeah, but wasn't yesterday a miserable day? I mean, obviously it was miserable because of the footy, but I went and it wasn't cold, but it rained, so that the rain and the slight chill in the air made it feel so much colder than it actually was. It was horrible. Had a week. My dad is 71 this year. Botrix has correctly joined the channel. Welcome, Botrix. Dankjewel, hadden we. Dankjewel. Yeah, so he didn't take me yesterday. I went to the footy all by myself for the first time. I drove there. Obviously, I know where I'm going. I've been going regularly since, well, the early 80s. Week in, week out since 85 onwards, so I know where I'm going. But I'd never parked that close to the stadium before because I'd never had a blue badge before. But I went and I parked. And it looked like I wasn't going to get a spot because all the spaces were taken. Every single one of them was taken. So I'm going to have to drive to the bottom and turn around because there's no exit rather, that end. And as I was halfway down the street, there was one space left, just one. That was the very final blue badge space. So I managed to get in there, sharpish, whipped me badge out and walked around to the stadium. I wish now, in hindsight, I'd have left a warmer hat rather than just a baseball cap, and also maybe a warmer coat rather than just wearing a hoodie, because that rain, the moisture in the air made everything feel so much colder. And we got beat, obviously, but we did actually score. That's the first Everton goal I've seen that counted in 3.5 years, but we still got beat. But it's a start, at least. I've seen a goal. Next time, you never know, we might get a draw, we might get a win. I doubt it. We're playing Bournemouth on Saturday at home again, so I'll be going again on my own. But we shall see. But it is another day that I got sorted. It's another tick in the box, so hopefully I'll be able to start making a few more trips out on my own. Fingers crossed. Yeah. And I never went last week or last home game, so they can't say it's always my fault that we got beat, because I wasn't there for the Arsenal game and we still got beat. But again, it was nice seeing me mates, all the people that sit around me. Very nice. And the Douwe Egberts coffee was fantastic as always. But I am making sure that, because we're playing on Saturday, I'm going to go through my wardrobe this week. I'm going to try on everything to make sure it fits. I can actually fit it on myself and put it on myself with my naked hand. I think jeans might be in order. I've got a waterproof coat that makes me look like Liam Gallagher. So I will be wearing something much more suitable next week, which means, of course, it's going to be absolutely roasting hot. And I will be sweating like a 1970s Radio 1 DJ when the doorbell rings, obviously. But, again, like I say, that's another little tick in the box. The highlight of the day by an absolute distance was the drive home. It was in that, because it was overcast and rain, and it was sort of, I don't want to say like dusky, but it wasn't far off. It was just, I had the heating on full because I needed to warm up, so the car was lovely and warm. Good music on, a nice chill drive, and I think that got a lot of it out of my system. So by the time I got home, I was a bit more chilled. Casper, how you doing, mate? Yeah, so it does. The defeats don't really bother me that much anymore, but I think the nature of yesterday sort of did get to me a little bit. But I got that out of my system, thankfully. And you never know. We managed to beat Brentford away, so we might be able to beat Bournemouth at home, but I doubt it, because we are absolutely shite. But yeah, that was my day out. Managed to get home, go to Tesco, get something decent to eat, something warm, spicy, and had a massive cup of tea. So at that point, I was feeling pretty good. Apart from the fact that my mum keeps asking me, am I alright? And it's pissing me off. As soon as I do it, if I stand up, are you alright? Yeah, I am alright. Don't need to keep asking. I'll be fine. If I need help, I will ask. I've got me physiotherapist, occupational therapist, doctor, everyone trying to boost me confidence, and people at home are trying to knock it as much as possible. I know it's done from a point of love and concern, but it does annoy me slightly. I'll be sound. Yeah, but I was buzzing when I found that space yesterday. You see, if there hadn't been a space, I would have turned around and come straight home. And I didn't. I managed to stay and sit through the hate-filled game. Yes, Mummy's little soldier. Not that I'm very little, you know. I'm a big boy now. I do grown-up writing and all kinds. But yeah, I know the feelings. I'm the same with my daughter. Despite the fact that she's going to be 18 in April, I'm still the same. Still protective. She went out to a party on Friday. Jesus, can you drop me off? It was the middle of absolutely nowhere. If the arse end of nowhere had a garden shed, it'd be beyond that garden shed. And like I said in my little short that I did as well yesterday, it was one of those where I've lived in this town for 32 years. I sort of know pretty much everywhere a little bit. Some places I need a little bit of help with, but I know most places. I know where I'm going. And when she says, can you take me here? Yeah, I know where that is, or I know pretty much where it is. Or I might sometimes look at a map and think, well, is it this end or that end? Yeah, it sounds okay. Whereas with this, I had to put the sat-nav on because it was literally, I think the next stop was Preston or Mogadishu or somewhere, I have no idea. She just does need looking after you, and you're right. Not sure if she can tie her own shoes. Not sure she could wear slip-ons without having some kind of issue. But she's better than she was, I know that. Angela Rippon to win Strictly, Mandy. Isn't that cheating? Angela Rippon doing it. Considering she's Morecambe and Wise were referring to as a very, very good hoofer, as they called it back then, a hoofer. Someone who can dance. How do we? Nothing wrong with Velcro. I do actually have a pair of Adidas Stan Smiths with Velcro straps on them because of the fact that I can't tie my laces myself. I have slip-on Skechers, which is just, I need them, but to my internal embarrassment, I own Skechers. And of course, Jamie fucking Redknapp wears Skechers. They were made for him, weren't they? Kev, how you doing, mate? From sunny Tenerife. You jammy sod. I've been there once. I did like the place. It was ridiculously hot though. And then I had a bit of a look on the map and realised that it's not just off the south coast of Spain, really, is it? Much closer to the equator, just off the coast of Africa, and it's bloody hot. Yeah. Very nice. I hope you're smashing it over there, mate. Yeah, so anyway, I had to buy those Adidas trainees just to make sure that I had something that I could wear that wasn't absolutely embarrassingly wool. I mean, wearing a baseball cap, a gilet, and a pair of Skechers really does get me Scouse card taken off me. Whereas if I throw a pair of Adidas on, I'm all right. Already tanned, Yep, Adidas. I'm not like one of those footy wankers that you see on Twitter whose entire house is full of Adidas training. Well, I am a bit. I've got loads of them because I like wearing me shoes. No, Mandy, it's not Adidas. It's not Adidas at all. It's named after the fella who started the company, Adolf or Adi Dassler. Him and his brother used to have a clothing company, Adolf and Rudolf, Adi and Rudy Dassler. They split up because they couldn't get on, like the Gallaghers. Adolf started Adidas and Rudolf started Puma. So they ended up with two of the biggest sports companies in the world at the time. Imagine if they stuck together. Probably wouldn't have got anywhere really, but you know. Yeah, but my dad, when he was playing football, was he had a boot deal with Adidas. Don't think he was paid mega bucks like they are nowadays, but he got his boots for free and he could go and get loads of stuff for us as well. So from a young age, I was getting loads of free Adidas trainees, trabs. And of course, I did the proper Scouse development. Started off with a pair of Adidas Kick. Then it was Mamba, Bamba and Samba. That's the order you had to do them in. And you went up a stage every sort of Christmas or Easter. Because of course, in Liverpool, at Christmas and Easter, you always got new clothes. It's still a tradition, bizarrely. I don't think it's as prevalent anywhere else, but it's massive in Liverpool. For Christmas and New Year, you get an absolute thorough rig out from top to bottom. Proper haircut. I'm trying to think what I used to get back in the 80s. Proper haircut. I think new jeans, a Lacoste polo shirt, a Lyland Scott golf jumper, and a pair of pod. I think it was a pod or kickers. I think I had pod. And that was just, everyone looked the same. And of course, you then throw your Adidas on. Because you had to look proper casual back then. You got a new nightgown each year at Sinterklaas. That's nice to see. Mandy, yeah, Botrix has learnt new words. Points make potato. Push buttons too. It helps things. It does. Whether that's the like button, putting chats, subscribing, all kinds of other random shit that you can do. It does help. We all know how much of a fickle mistress the algorithm is. I've been watching some stuff from these YouTube gurus who know everything about everything and tell you exactly what you need to do to make YouTube your living. Well, I don't want to do that because I've got a full-time job. I don't need to be doing that shit. I don't want to be doing the same thumbnails as everyone else. I don't want to be doing the same content as everyone else. And they keep saying, don't treat the algorithm like the algorithm. Swap algorithm for audience. It doesn't work that way. With the greatest will in the world, it doesn't work that way at all. It's a load of shite. It's just them not trying to control you to make, I was going to say Twitter, YouTube, and homogenised the same as Spotify, where it's the algorithm is purely for 14-year-old girls who put Taylor Swift on repeat. This is not what we're here for YouTube. No, we're not having that. The Adidas Pegasus. Oh yeah. Come on, Europe. Would that be golf related, or is this like the final countdown has got into the top 10 or something? Ewan, the story on points make potatoes. Botrix, the more you chat, the more points you get, the more you level up. Eventually, points will lead to having knitted ninja potatoes as prizes. So you keep on watching this space. Eventually, there may be a little shop available where you can get limited edition potatoes. So just watch this space. There have been some fantastic ones lately. Kev, your channel's making about 25 quid a month. Yeah, you're going to have to do something spectacular, aren't you, to make a living out of it? It's ridiculous. But I suppose 25 quid a month's better in your pocket than someone else's. If it pays for Restream or StreamYard or something, then it keeps you going a little bit, doesn't it? Mine's going to have to make an absolute mint to pay for all the shit that I keep on buying. I have definitely got gear acquisition syndrome. It's ridiculous. A year ago, I wouldn't be sat in bed looking at key lights. Why am I looking at lights? I mean, this doesn't need to be lit up. The darker the better, really, isn't it? Having a face like this. Yeah, Kev, money for doing something you enjoy. That's the way you've got to look at it as well. It doesn't have to be a living. If you're enjoying every minute of what you're doing, and at the end of the day, it's not costing you money to do, then I think that's a good idea, looking at it that way. Yes, I am the ninja potato. Spud to know that. Yep, golf stuffed the Yanks. Did Europe win, did they? I'm not a fan of golf, despite the fact that I live in a very, very golf town. The British Open is here on a regular basis. I think is it here this year or next year? Shows you how much I love the golf. When it was here, the highlight of that particular tournament was the fact that a rugby league player from St Helens was in the pub. And I recognised him. I thought, wow. Shane Cooper, his name was. An Australian fella. And I always thought he was small. And then when I seen him in the pub, he was absolutely massive. So that was the highlight of it. Not a fan of golf. Although every time I see the ball, when the camera's at one end, I see the ball coming towards you, I love to stand there with a cricket bat and whack it back. I think it'd make a fantastic sound. Not my game now. Although anything where we beat the Americans, and again, if Daniel's watching, this is not against the Americans, it's against American golf fans. Anyone who screams "get in the hole" every time someone takes a shot deserves to be shot. Although I did like the fact that when Tiger Woods ended up going back on the tour after all his infidelity, when he had a shot, someone shouted "get in the hole." Well, that was quite funny. He ended up getting chucked out for that. Tiger Woods, of course, got a younger brother called Kitten Hedge. True story. Mandy's keeping the Dan potato. Is that the Dan or the Dan potato when you've got a typo? Yes, he is very cute. They are really good, I must admit. We won't keep telling you to start an Etsy store, which you should do, but don't worry about it. Kev, offer a nice juicy steak. You have a great night as well, mate. See you later. Mandy, the room is filling up with things watching you. Do you always feel like someone is watching you? Was that Rockwell? Wasn't it Rockwell? Didn't it have Michael Jackson doing backing vocals or something? That's bizarre. Steve, yes, the postman has delivered. Doesn't deliver too often these days, unfortunately. I have been absolutely fatigued with a capital F recently. My back went knackered last week. Oh man. I had to stay off the pregabalin and go on the soluble cocodamol because it was killing me. It was that sore. It was ridiculous. And pregabalin makes you drowsy. Cocodamol makes you drowsy. If you have both at the same time, apparently you'll sleep for days, which is not good when you need to drive or do a full-time 40-hour-a-week job or whatever it is I do. Yeah, but hopefully it's on the way now. Yeah, so that fatigue out on me occupational therapy on Friday. Jeez. I haven't been tremoring as much lately doing that, and I haven't been clawing. There was loads of improvement, which is really good to see. One of them, and sorry man, this is back to sports, but anyone who's played pool or snooker will know the bridge, your cue in hand, sort of when you put your hand down to put the cue in it, that bridge that you do, that movement, you've got your little pads across here, those muscles, they take so much working to get them back, and I can actually do that now. Before I was doing that and it looked like a claw, now it looks like a snooker bridge, so it's a huge improvement. I also had another strength test, a grip test. I don't know if it was any better than before, but it felt a little bit stronger. So it means that bit by bit, the hand is coming back. The dexterity is still miles away, but the strength is at least coming back a little bit. I am working the muscles, so hopefully it's the sign that I am on the way forward. But I was knackered after that, and I was tremoring at the end. She had me playing peg solitaire with a wooden board with wooden pegs in it. You know, taking one out, skipping it over the other, and taking the peg out and putting it to one side, all with me bad hand. That was a nightmare. But I'm gonna have to buy one. I'm gonna have to find one on eBay or Amazon, because it was really good practice. Frustrating as fuck, but definitely good practice. Mandy, you play pool? That does not surprise me at all. I can imagine you finishing a gig and just going and sorting all the lads out at pool. The mate who I work with, June, it was like that. Absolute shark. Blonde, ditzy, or pretended to be ditzy. Can I have a game with you lads? And then ended up absolutely wiping the floor with every one of us. But she has hustled people big time before in the past. So, Juno, if you're watching, which you won't be, got my eye on you, girl. You are dodgy as. Yeah, pool, great game. When we had the pub, we used to block the pockets up and play for hours and hours. I love playing that. Of course, now, the little area within the pub that we used to play pool in, where the pool table was, no longer exists because they've knocked half the bloody place down. Horrible going past that. I hate it. I've said it before on here, haven't I? I hate seeing that. I lived there for 12 years. That was 12 really good years. Lots of people that used to go in there are no longer with us. And it used to be nice just going past and seeing the place and having a little bit of a think of friends who are long departed, but even that won't be there much longer. He'll be smashed into smithereens and turned into a co-op, because that's what we need, isn't it? More little shops. No, we don't really. Especially where I am, there's a Spar around the corner, but there's a massive Tesco, an Aldi, and also they're just opening an absolutely humongous Sainsbury's up there as well. Huge. I knew it was going to be big, but driving past there during the day, like when you actually see it, it is phenomenal. I don't mind going there because they've got orange bin bags, orange shopping bags, and obviously I like a bit of orange. Mandy, Misspent Youth, winner stays on, of course. Our pool room was we used to call it, it was the vaults. We used to call it Fraggle Rock because it was just some of the dregs of Southport society in the nicest possible way. Would be protective when someone would say, you know, he's a dickhead. Well, he is a dickhead, but he's our dickhead. He's ours, you know, we'd look after him. We had something delivered once that had fragile written on the side of it, and one of the lads went, "Oh, Fraggle, is that for us?" And he genuinely meant it. But yeah, Fraggle Rock, full of old people smoking weed. We had to kick them out all the time, no matter how many times you told them. What am I doing? What do you think you're doing? Having a fucking 19th Skinner in the pub, you can't do that shit. Why? What's illegal? Someone comes in and sees you, we get reported, lose your licence. That's shit, isn't it? Yeah, it is shit. But yeah, pool table. I do sort of miss those days. The stay behinds, getting the guitars down, having a sing song. We used to have a bit of an open fire. So at Christmas night, everywhere was closed. We weren't allowed to open, but we could open the back door and have a free and easy night, we used to call it. 2 guitars, open fire, just people that were invited, regulars, all nice people. I would have a sit by the fire and have a sing song, and that's the kind of thing I miss. There are 1 or 2 people, like I say, who are no longer with us. Some that died far too young as well. But it is a shame. Yep, Steve, changing the subject if you may, and you may. The whole thing about Vim is very strange. From what this friend said on his post on Radio ETS, I know Hadwick was emailing because she got asked if she could, and very nicely did on behalf of the community, was emailing. And if you get told someone is no longer with you, you do not then go and get a detective to go start traipsing all around Antwerp or wherever it was he lived. You take it as read. If someone isn't posting anymore and then someone else says, oh, they're no longer with us, then they're no longer with us. How long do you carry on searching? How far do you go? Do you go on LinkedIn, look for his name and start emailing him where he used to work? What do you do? So Daniel sent you the comments yesterday. It's bizarre. If he is still around and it's been some kind of joke, then do you know what? It's stupid. It's a very, very stupid kind of thing to do. But I think we're a forgiving community on the whole. If he is around and wants to come back and say sorry, or this is the reason why I've done this, then, well, I'd be happy to have him back. It'd just be nice to have someone back who we thought was no longer with us. I'm not sure everyone would be the same, but, I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone. If he is no longer with us, then whoever this Franz is acting like a complete twat. There's no need for it whatsoever. And trying to cause issues with a community that I think handled it pretty well. I think if it was me that was to go and people handled it that way, if I was looking from up above or down below or wherever it is I end up, I'd be happy that people had that concern for me and thought highly of me. So yeah, I don't know what anyone else thinks. I'd be happy just to know that he's still around. But depends on who's telling the truth. Franz could be Rodica. We don't know. Good point. Could be anyone, couldn't it? Someone just shit staring. Very odd. I've not spoken to Daniel about it yet, but it must be weird for him with it being his channel. You sort of feel responsible for your audience. I know I don't, because it's not my audience. This is Daniel's audience. I'm part of it, so it's just, for me, it's like having a chat with me mates. With him, it's his job, it's his audience. If you start getting people who are shit staring or being a bit stalkery or trying to cause fractures within the community, it must weigh heavy on him. So yeah. The name Franz rang a bell. So you look back in your history and Franz started commenting on your comments back in March. But has he spoken to anyone else? Has he messaged anyone? This Franz. I know I did try and Google Vim's name and just see if there was anything that stood out. There's absolutely nothing. Was it Wim Kaubergs? I did have a look and there was a Franz Kaubergs, which I thought was slightly odd, that it was the two names put together. So I don't know, maybe someone is just pissing about and trying to cause a little bit of trouble. And if they are, there's easier ways of doing it rather than trying to rake over the coals of things that should be left firmly alone. Yep, I wouldn't even bother. You went out of your way to try and get in contact and find out for us, for which I know I was grateful, and I would think that most of the people in the community were grateful. If he isn't no longer around, then that's fair enough. We did everything we could, or you did everything you could to try and find out what happened and stay in contact. If he is, then it's a horrible thing to do. But I'm sure we will find out. If Franz isn't Franz and he's someone who we think he might be, most people they'll cock up at some point and say something that they shouldn't do, or they get found out. Because as a community we're also sneaky as fuck, aren't we, really? I would trust that there's enough people in this community who could find out anything if they really wanted to. We have ways and means. I'm telling you, we have ways and means. But yeah, you did what you could. And if it's all a load of rubbish that we were told at the start, I'd stay out of it, like you say. Leave it as it is. Well. Weird, innit? As I say, for Daniel, it must be strange. He must have a responsibility being sort of the owner of a large channel and being a member of a huge channel where you are responsible for what goes into your chat and sort of not responsible for the people in it, but you do feel sort of responsibility for the people that are in your chat, in your community. And you will feel a sense of loss. So I think it must be horrible for him. Yep, how do we if he is? There's nothing we can do about it if he is dead. If Franz is Vim and he wants to mess around, then what more can we do? And also if they are Moldovan, nothing we can do about that. You are 100% right. Just keep our eyes open and look out for weird shit. Exactly, Mandy. There's a few people on earth I wouldn't want to piss off. You, Lizzie, Hadouich are amongst them. I don't think I'd want to annoy yous. So, yeah. If he turns up, if Franz is Franz or Franz is someone else, or Vim turns up, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of reception he would receive. I can imagine it would be 10 of the best trousers down, to quote Blackadder yet again. Oh, that's fantastic, by the way. It's water. Isn't water underrated? It's fantastic stuff. When you were editing that, well, too late. I've said it out loud now. It's out there for the whole world to hear. Not even worth editing. And who's Real or Rail? That sounds like a dodgy name as well, doesn't it? Rail. Yeah, Rail. Rail, of course, R-A-E-L, is the character from The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis. It's high quality 820, Steve, it is, and it's in something that keeps it cool, which is very, very handy, apart from the fact that last night, for the first time in 2023, for the first time since about February, I think, I had the radiator on in the bedroom. I stuck it on for about 5 hours before I went to bed, just to take the chill out the room, because it was absolutely Baltic the night before. Horrible. And it wasn't even that cold outside, it was just the change in temperature, I think, made it feel so much colder. But the heating was on and I felt great. I felt groovy. Might have helped the fact that I was absolutely exhausted after a long day out, obviously. That day did have a little bit of a fatiguing effect on me mentally, because it was a big thing to do, out on my own at the age of 50. Jesus, you think I was a kid, wouldn't you? Going on the first night out. I was watching everything is bleeding Luton. It's a shame we didn't beat them as well, because Tommy Robinson's a Luton fan, isn't he? And I hate that gobshite. The nights are getting colder there as well, how do we? Yeah, they will do. I was surprised when I went out earlier just how quickly and how early it went dark. But literally, I said earlier, I was out for 10 minutes or so. And within the space of about 5 of those minutes, it went from daytime to nighttime. It was like a switch had been flicked, or a flick had been switched, or a switch had been flicked, or something like that anyway. Yeah, Luton, Steve, Luton, bleeding Luton. Horrible. I've been to Luton once. It was closed. Now, my ex wanted to be an air hostess. So, ended up having to drive to Luton because she was going to go for EasyJet. Went all the way down there, paid for a hotel, stayed overnight. She never even went for the interview. Woke up the following day and went, nah, I don't fancy it. So we drove all the way back. So that's my one and only sort of experience of Luton. Just, no. Could be anywhere. Luton. Seems like one of those weird little towns, or is it a city? I don't know. A little town or something that only the people that are from there actually like or know anything about. Coventry used to be another one. I've got an issue with Coventry. Actually, I don't mind Coventry City as a football team, and I hope they come back onto the Premier League. They have been treated so badly by Sisu and the former owners and all them lot. Horrible. But for some reason I always thought Coventry was the East Midlands, even though I know it's the West. Because they had a rivalry with Leicester, it stuck in my mind. It was always the East Midlands. And we went there in 1986, was it? Something like that. My uncle took me to the away game at Highfield Road. It might have been a little bit, it might have been 87 or 88. Tony Cottee had just signed for us. So it was definitely around that time, 88 maybe. And when we got there in the car, he hung his head out the window in a broad Scouse accent. All right, mate, where's Coventry's ground from here? So the fella told him where to go. And when we got there, it was Coventry United. You fucking idiot. You know, Coventry City are playing Everton. It's a Division 1 game, like a Premier League game as is now. And you're sending us to a non-league ground. Tit. So I had a shitty on with Coventry for a long time. And I shouldn't have done, because it's obviously the home of the Specials, who I absolutely adore. Oh, I'm going to have to tell you as well. My uncle, who got me into music, into all the punk, new wave and two-tone stuff, he gave me a load of 7-inch singles. They were all two-tone originals. The Specials, the Selector. Madness had a couple of singles out on two-tone. Rare as Rockin' or Shite. And at the age of 15, I suddenly got myself into prog rock, and that's all I listened to for about a year. I thought, I don't need these anymore, so we got rid of them. And if I'd have kept hold of them, not only would they have been worth quite a lot of money, I would never have sold them, because it's the kind of music that I, to this day, absolutely adore. I should have just kept hold of them. Instead, I got bugger all for them, and I probably went and bought a Van de Graaff Generator album instead. But, you know, yeah, you've had some excellent nights out in Coventry. It's probably one of those places where it's nothing. Because I've never really been there, so I don't know anything about it, so it must be shit. And then when you suddenly go there, it's all of a sudden you think, geez, this is a great place, this. But yeah, never been. Only been for a football game, which I think, did we win or did we draw? Tony Cottee scored, I know that. And it was cold. And it looked bleak. It looked like the 1980s. I know it was the 1980s, but it looked like the 1980s. It looked like the Specials could have been making Ghost Town Mark II. Yeah, there's a few places like that. I suppose Middlesbrough. Anyone going to Middlesbrough who's not from around there, who doesn't know the place, would probably think the same. That can look a bit bleak at times, even though I love it. But near the stadium, which is on the sort of the dock area, that is, during the winter, we always seem to play them during the winter. Middlesbrough, by the way, is the coldest place on earth. You know why there's never been a polar bear in Middlesbrough? It's too fucking cold. That's why. But yeah, that's the weather's ridiculous. I mean, the whole of the northeast is strangely cold, colder than you think it would be. But yeah, very, very strange. Where else? I'm trying to think where else we went to. Been to London for loads of games. Used to enjoy that. Arsenal and QPR are my two favourite away games. Always enjoy them. Last time I went to QPR, we won. Last time I went to Arsenal, I think we got battered. Boundary Park's officially the coldest ground in England. That would not surprise me. Oldham, yeah, that is another strangely cold place. I suppose there's loads of places like that in the north, isn't there? Bolton, Burnden Park. I had mates that went there who said that was the coldest away game they've been to. One of my coldest was Ewood Park, Blackburn. That was horrifically cold. 1995 or 96, that was. 96. We won, I think it was 3-1. Andrei Kanchelskis scored 2 goals. Amazing. Got outside, and there's a pub called the Fairnest, and the Blackburn police were saying to us, no, you've got to go. No away fans allowed in this place, and the door opened. And the fella who was running it at the time was a proper scouser and a good bloke. He went, come in, lads. Just everyone piled in there. Butties, Panzer Scouts and all kinds laid on for us. Great, enjoyed that. Never use switches. Buttons feel easier. There's a problem with pushing buttons though, isn't there, on these streams? There are 9 people listening. Who are the other ones? I can't tell who they are. It's strange. If they talk, you can tell who they are. They show up as a list. But if people are just watching, if they're gigging in the background, it doesn't tell you. One of them might be one of my alts, by the way. Because I was looking early on to make sure it was working, so there's a good chance one of them might be one of my alts. I'll keep a few alts just in case. I have other ideas for stuff that might not fit this channel. And also it's nice to be sneaky at times. Can't beat a bit of sneaky, can you? Yeah, I've got one that I want to do with music. About the kind of music I was listening to when I was a bit younger. But that would mean me bothering me arse and difficult to do. 3 soon disappeared. That'll be Rodica, Franz and Vim. Perhaps. Never know. Could be anyone, couldn't it? Could be anyone. These things do get pushed as well, just to the outer world. Not very hard, but they do get pushed to the outer world. It's part of the reason why I did the thumbnail the way it was and just called it Yes. I made it yellow, white and black because it stands out. I've been testing these things to see what kind of thumbnails work. And the stars, yeah, yes. The woman named after a Las Vegas magician's tiger. Who were they called, those magicians? I can't remember now. It wasn't Penn and Teller. Who were the German ones? Yeah. There was a tigers called Anastasia, didn't he? White tigers. Strange. I don't get Las Vegas. I've got friends who live there. And they don't speak very highly of the place. Probably where they are, they said it's alright, but as soon as you get down to the strip, it's like living in a different world, isn't it? Don't think I go for a walk and walk past the pyramids and the Eiffel Tower on the same road. Just doesn't look right. And we're expecting a yes reaction. They might have been, and do you know what? If they were, I can do a yes reaction because I know their stuff inside out. I've listened to Yes since I was a sallow youth, since I was a kidlet. Siegfried and Roy, that's it. Hadwig, yeah, that was it. They're very, very strange people. Well, they were. One of them I don't think's with us anymore, is he? Didn't one of them get mauled by his own tiger? That's a Sally's free lesson, isn't it? Don't poke the hornet's nest. Mandy, your niece lives in the Vegas suburbs and loves it. Yeah, but I think the suburbs are okay, aren't they? But I think the people I know who say as soon as you need to go anywhere in sort of the touristy town area, it goes downhill fast. Doesn't look my kind of place, mind you. The States really isn't. Been to LA twice. I didn't mind that. It was quite good because we were with the people that we were with, the families that we stayed with and went to see. That was all right, actually. But I don't think I could spend too much time in the States without doing something, I don't know, a bit different. I don't want to go to Florida and do a fly drive holiday. I've been to Disney. I don't want to see any more of that shite. I've been to Knott's Berry Farm as well, which is not too far away from Disneyland in Los Angeles. That was okay. But no. Don't suppose I wouldn't mind doing Route 66, having that drive, or New York. I don't know, New York seems alright, but just, I don't know, it's a bit New Yorky, isn't it? Casper is back. Leeds is the coldest city in England by temperature. I didn't know that. In Scotland it's Perth. There is a place in Scotland, I'm not sure if it's Perth, but there is one where sort of traditionally the coldest day of the year is always recorded there because it's in a dip. So the sunlight doesn't hit it at all on certain days during the winter. It's ridiculous. I'll find out what that is. I don't know if it is Perth. Yeah, and why go to Disney if you can go to the Efteling? There's another one, isn't it? There's another sort of, not exactly the Efteling, but another one that's sort of similar but smaller. I think that might be in Over Iceland. I can't think of the name of it. We went there as well. They had a monorail. Steve, Route 66 on a Harley Davidson. Not a chance. Not a chance. Bikes are just cars that are dangerous. I'd rather be in a car. Route 66 in, I don't know, the Bullet car, in one of those big muscle cars, maybe. I despise them cars. I hate American cars at the best of times, but in the right environment, which I think Route 66 would be the right environment, one of those big fuckers cruising, maybe I'd do that. The Grand Tour was good when he did Lockdown, where he took the huge American cars, 3 big American cars to Scotland, which showed they're just not fit for the roads over here. Plus, like 8 litre engines, where you're getting about 8 miles to the gallon, and the output is about 200 brake horsepower. I've got a 1 litre. You get a 1 litre Japanese car that does a lot more than that. Loads more horsepower. It's ridiculous. How can something with an engine so big be so thunderously slow? And they're all barges, aren't they? Minus 15 around Christmas last year. That's ridiculous. Dark has been ridiculous. Mandy, you had mates who did it on a hog. Route 66 on a hog. Yeah, boring. Don't do it. Slacharen, that's the one. Slacharen, yeah. My dad used to take us there occasionally because it wasn't that far to drive. I used to enjoy that. The English Route 66 goes east to west in northern England, according to QI. Yeah, I think that's one that a lot of people walk for charity as well. That particular thing. I don't think I would mind doing that. But the idea to stay away from the northeast of England is possibly the best thing. Spent 5 years there, although bizarrely, Geordies especially want to claim that Middlesbrough isn't the northeast. I know it's part of North Yorkshire, but it's further north than Liverpool, Preston, Manchester, and they're all northwest. It's further north than them, and it's on the east coast. So I would posit the idea that Middlesbrough is the northeast of the country. Not a huge fan of Newcastle, even though I've got quite a few mates there. The last few times have all been for work, which I don't suppose really helps. So you have to get up fairly early, travel, prepare. Staying in a hotel there, you still got to get up early every day, prepare your job for the day, go and meet up with all the other instructors and teachers and what have you. It's horrible. And by the time you get home, the kitchen's closed. You have to have fast food and have a few beers. That's about it. How do we? You should go. Slackharen was great. I used to love it. ETS 21 subscriber tour. That would work well, that, Steve, to be honest. I think if we got a load of subscribers together in a minibus or a coach and did a proper tour of anywhere, it would be funny as. So I think we should do. Casper, you've got the old army roads from before the 1600s. That would be absolutely fantastic. That'd be a lovely thing to see, that. I know we've got like roads like that here, haven't we, in the UK? And again, it's something that probably would take about an hour to drive to, but never got myself around to doing it. I will have to do so fairly soon. Yes, Steve. That seemed really dodgy, that 16-year-old did it. And when you have a look at it, there was a paint mark on it. Well, the 16-year-old who was going to fell a tree for shits and giggles, would they have marked it out with paint first? How does a 16-year-old fell a huge tree like that? Sounds like someone else. There was a 60-year-old as well that was arrested for it. But it does sound dodgy. Seems that old rickety pub that burnt down mysteriously. Lots of this seems to be happening. You went to Toverland with your youngest niece in the summer. Not as good as the Efteling. I don't think many places will be, will they? Daisy Roots. Because the Queen's nickname is Daisy. Daisy Roots over here, of course, is a rhyming slang for boots. Put your daisies on. Yes, Botrix. Tell them. Points make potatoes. Points make potato. There should be potatoes, shouldn't it? Obviously, Botrix can't spell. Obviously, he's got Botrix here. This Botrix. I need to look into that. I need to look into places where it can actually go in this country. And then take a camera with me and then throw it on the channel just to show people what lovely places we've got. You should do the same, Casper. If you've got places like that, routes like that, and your mum lives on one, go and have a look. Film it. Just throw it up. Let's have a look what places are like. We need to see more. Definitely need to see more. Oh, yeah, Botrix hasn't levelled anyone up, has he? It's still signed in now. It has had the habit of kicking people out, or kicking me out rather, but it hasn't done that. Yeah, right, very strange. Everyone's earning points. Everyone looks like they're earning points though. Yeah. I'll look into whether or not I can put the league table up. Doesn't show you to begin with here, but might be able to do it. It's something I'll look into this week when I get a spare few minutes. Botrick is being a bit ridiculous though, isn't he? No need for it. Botrix is as Botrix does. Oh, shirt, by the way, I thought I'd mention that now. It's signed by the absolute legend that is Alex Young, the Golden Vision. A man so good at football that he had a film called The Golden Vision about loads of Scousers going to a football match. He was my dad's hero growing up, Alex Young. And he was at a sportsman's dinner one night with Alex Young and introduced me to the legend, and we ended up giving him a lift home to the place that he was staying. And I thought it was fantastic. My dad was buzzing. Seeing my dad absolutely buzzing, someone who's played against some of the best players in the world. You know, my dad was in a Middlesbrough team that played against Argentinos juniors, including Maradona was in that squad back in 1980. We played against Cruyff, George Best. He played alongside George Best in a testimonial game, and yet he was still giddy because he'd seen Alex Young. top fella. And yeah, signed by him, so that's going up on my little, me hanger, covering up my Sports Sylvenskere shirt, because it's much better. And it's only small, that one, so I can't wear it, because I am massive now, compared to that. Rill's Finest is top of the league. Rill's Finest, isn't that the alarm? Sorry, man. Yeah, how do we have met so many great players? It's ridiculous how many I've met over the years. And yet I still remember people like Fred Biscott, who was I think he played for Telstar. It might have been or Helmand Sport. It was one of them. And he looked like an old man. When I say an old man, he looked like he was in his 50s. He had his bald on the top, brown hair around the sides, a big bushy moustache. And he was really, really nice, dead kind and funny. Had a little game of footy with us and then went and had his pint. But he looked like a real old man. In fact, he looked a bit like Cassandra's dad in Only Fools and Horses. Which, if you don't watch that programme, will mean absolutely nothing to you. But yeah, met loads of them. And some great ones who probably aren't as well known. People like Michel Falke, Simon Tahamata, Gerald Farnenberg. These players were absolutely superb players, and all dead nice as well. That little game of 3 and in that we used to have in the corridor between the players' lounge and the tunnel, that was fantastic. Used to love doing that. Jan Mulby was always good for that. He'd always have a game with you. Yeah, some fantastic players, and I was lucky. My dad did an interview with a football magazine called Shoot, that was huge in the UK at the time. We were asking him what was it like playing in Holland, and because not many English players had played abroad at that point, and he just said it's absolutely amazing. Holland are going to be a fantastic football team for years to come, and he said there's some kids coming through that you need to watch out for, and he mentioned Van Basten, Rijkaard, Gullit, Koeman, all these players that just trip off the tongue now as being legends, and they were right at the start of their careers. And I was lucky enough to be there seeing them blossoming into absolutely elite players, and really, really nice lads as well. Big Jan, did he play for you at the end of his career? I didn't realise that. I know he was, did he end up as player manager at Swansea? I think he spends most of his time over here now, doesn't he, Jan? He's seen out and about in Liverpool, normally eating or drinking. Good Danish lad. Ebersand, what a great player he was. Didn't he play for AC Milan? I remember him playing for Denmark. He was always banging the goals in. Very, very good player. Brian Steen Nielsen. Angela Rippon to win Strictly, yeah. We're not really talking football, Mandy. It's talking meeting people, meeting famous people. There are some weird ones as well. Obviously, I know Chubby Brown isn't to everyone's taste, and I understand why, but he's a big mate of my dad's. Obviously, playing for Middlesbrough, he was a huge Middlesbrough fan, and he used to come round to the house quite a lot, have a cup of tea and see my dad. So he was always in the house. I think he went for a sauna on a Tuesday or Thursday or something, and my dad would tell him all the jokes that he'd learned in Liverpool. So it must have been a Tuesday over the weekend, and then Chubby would change all the Liverpool references for Middlesbrough references and then go and tell him in his act. And he still, when we had the pub, whenever he played the Floral Hall in Southport, he'd come into the pub and see us. Yeah, loads of famous people. Of course, one who plays used to play five-a-side with us until he was in his late 70s is John McNally, the guitar player and singer with the Searchers. Needles and pins and every time that you walk in the room and all that stuff. Lovely, lovely man. He played until he was about 78. His brother was still playing at the age of 76. They are ridiculous how healthy and fit them two are. Then they put it down to having cod liver oil from a young age. Yes, how do we? Yes, you can dance. If you ever watch a Morecambe and Wise episode with her in it, a Christmas episode, I think, she was surprisingly good as a dancer. Brian Steele Nielsen. I know that name from our house, which is in the middle of our street, isn't it? Madness, that. Casper's levelled up, brilliant. Yes, Steve Royston Vasey. And of course, the League of Gentlemen, the town that the fictitious town was Royston Vasey, and he appeared in that show as the mayor, the foul-mouthed mayor, which I think is very, very suitable. I like that. Good fella, Chubbs. I think his act obviously is an acquired taste and probably was better left in the 80s, but it is an act. He's not like that. He's a really, really well-spoken, polite person in general, in real life. Although he is hard as nails, and I don't think if anyone annoyed him, he would keep his temper for too long. But he is a genuinely nice fella. It is an act at the end of the day. It is very, very crude, yes, it is. Casper, yeah, Rhys Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton are two absolute genius writers and performers. Inside Number 9 has provided some of the best TV to ever be on UK television in its entire history. Malthus and Stairs. Hi, very nice. It's very nice to see you, very nice. So you've got me Eastern Bloc hat for you. Making sure you're alright. How's things? Rodder Kirsty. Funny that I had to check twice just to see who that was. You're not friends, are you? Friends in disguise. Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again. Oh, very nice. Oh. Do you know what it was that mentioned? Rhys Shearsmith and Carshare? Yes, Steve. Brilliant. A stingray. Absolutely superb. The outtakes to that in the car are incredible. Here, Comedy Hot Stepper. Fantastic. I love that. Still to this day, if I'm ever in a bad mood or feeling down, just stick those outtakes on, and within minutes, buzzing. Yeah, Casper, every episode, it is really dark with a twist. And there's very, very few shows where regularly I can't see the twist. There's been times where I've genuinely been absolutely thrown. I thought, where on earth has that come from? Incredible. One of my favourite ones is Bernie. I was going to say Bernie Slavin's dressing room. Bernie Slavin used to play for Middlesbrough. He's come to the house this week to do a podcast episode with me dad. That's the reason why it's on my mind. Oh, who was it? The comedian Bernie Clifton. Bernie Clifton's dressing room, that's the one. For someone who grew up in the 70s and 80s watching comedy on TV, was it Cheese and Crackers they played? That was Little and Large, it was Cannonball, it was every single 70s and 80s sort of comedy duo off the TV. They absolutely nailed it. And very, very sad. It was one of those shows where I don't often show huge amounts of emotion, but I did, I'll be honest, I shed a tear at the end of that episode. I thought it was fantastic. Yes, Moldovan Stairs needs to charge the phone. Of course we know it's Kirsty now, don't we? There is a giveaway. That's why I said earlier on, eventually the Moldovans will always give themselves away with who they are because they just can't help themselves. How do we... A solar panel charger. That would work in most of the countries, not in the UK. We get 20 minutes of sun every 6 years. Yes, Mandy, he was the one who rode an ostrich. That episode, if you've not seen it, it's worth watching. It's very funny, very poignant. There's loads of sort of 70s and 80s cultural references, done brilliantly, performed superbly. Cheese and Crackers. Yeah, they should have won an award for that. And Sian Gibson, again, absolutely love that girl. What a superb actress. She was in Phoenix Nights as Holy Mary's daughter. Didn't really say much. Then all of a sudden turned up in Car Share and absolutely nails the part of Kaylee in that. Brilliant actress, really funny. Yeah. Inside Number 9 is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. The dogging episode, I loved that. With young Kenny from Phoenix Nights is in it. Old Kenny from Phoenix Nights is in it as well. Absolutely superb. I like the fact that it wasn't even Peter Kay's show. It was someone else who wrote it, and he just got parachuted in, changed loads of stuff, and you can tell if you watched any of Peter Kay's stuff over the years, Phoenix Nights, and what was the stuff that he did before that? He did his 6 episodes, didn't he? One of which was inside the club, or in the club, which got turned into Phoenix Nights. Can't think what the name of it was, but The Services was one of them. He did the old fella, the oldest paperboy in Bolton as well. Loads of great episodes, but if you watch Car Share, you can see loads of his little bits thrown in there. I love the road signs that you don't see too often. Sean Ryder Rehab Clinic being one of them. Absolutely fantastic. I've got the box set of that. I think I might have to dig that out and watch it sometime this week. Superb. Yeah, Cheese and Crackers. What a great name. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one of those acts back in the 70s or 80s. Used to be in the Pontins or Butlins in Pwllheli or Skegness or wherever they used to go to. I'm sure there would have been someone like that. I loved the 12 Days of Christine as well. The one with Sheridan Smith, the Inside Number 9. It's another one. They know how to be funny, but they can also really tug at your heartstrings and do really poignant stuff. It takes some fantastic writing. Steve, I didn't watch Cradle to the Grave, Danny Baker. I know he wrote it, didn't he? It was about his life growing up with his dad. Never got round to watching it. Is it available on streaming? That might be something I need to watch, along with the Alan Carr thing. I will get round to watching that as well. I know I've been warned about having to watch that, so I will get round to watching that when I remember these things. With the best will in the world. I mean, I am absolutely addicted to watching Wes Anderson films. And I bought his latest one, Asteroid City. I think I bought it 2 weeks ago and I haven't even got around to watching that yet. Normally, when one of his films come out, I'll buy it on the day it comes out and I'll watch it the second I can. But no, because my head's a little west and I'm fatigued and what have you, and I've got loads of things to do. Well, not loads of things, but I've got things to do. Full-time employment as well as getting better. I will have a look for it though. I'm off not this week, I'm off the week after. Having a much needed week off work. Because I've got loads of leave left and I am absolutely thoroughly exhausted. So I'll have time to watch stuff like that then. I'll get my whiteboard. In fact, I'll nick the whiteboard off Kippers and I'll put everything on there that I need to watch. And I will try and get through them that week. I won't do reactions to them because no one wants to see that shit from me, do they really? It's not the same as watching other people who are sitting there laughing and going how fantastic this is. Just me being miserable saying how shite everything is. We don't need that. Even if it's good, I'll still say it's shite. Peter Kay's brilliant as Danny Baker's dad. A strange casting choice, but probably one that works well. I like Danny Baker as well before he went a little bit weird. Moldovan Stairs is at home and on charge. Is that your phone or you? We need to know these things. The new series of Ghost starts soon. Is that the BBC Ghost? Is that the Horrible Histories people? I think I watched 2 or 3 episodes of that, and it's weird because I know so many of the actors. Both. Right. Fair going, that case, fair going. Yeah, I know so many of the actors from different stuff, other series, other shows that I've watched, so it was weird watching them. Simon Farnaby was in The Mighty Boosh as a conker. He had a conker for a head. Yeah, the Mighty Boosh. I need to watch that as well. I haven't watched that in ages. I can get lost in Mighty Boosh, in their world. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit like I need an escape and I can't get out the house, that's what I put on. I haven't tried to watch that yet with me nightlight. I need to do that. I need to put my nightlight on. I don't know why I'm doing this. I can't do it remotely. And see if I can watch the Boosh with... Just turn them lights off because they should have been off ages ago. But yeah, I need to watch the Boosh with the aurora and the moon. That would work great. Because obviously the moon is in the Mighty Boosh. Kirsty's eating chips. No, you're eating pommes No, they are chips. They're not frites. Not eating on that French shite. Proper chips. Big fat chips. The kind of chips that you can play Jenga with. Spud Jenga. Proper chips. How do we, if you're still there, do you call them frites or patat? Because I know in the Netherlands, it's sort of split up into different parts. Everyone's got their own little way of saying things, haven't they? Friet is better than chips. All right, there's your answer. Friet, of course. It was patat in Enschede. And patat met just meant chips with mayonnaise. And we had patat met, or satay met pindasaus and patat met pindasaus. And apparently it's called satay sauce in other parts of the country as well. So I don't know if it was just Enschede being weird on its own, but I was brought up saying different things completely. Isn't friet more of it's a southern thing, isn't it? More towards Belgium and France, that part of the Netherlands, whereas the north say patat a bit more. I like patat because I can remember it. It was like potato. Ghosts start on Friday at 8:30. I will keep an eye out for that. Simon Farnaby, of course, was also in Mindhorn, that film on the Isle of Man, which is very Boosh heavy as well. That's worth watching. I've got a mate who lives in the Isle of Man, and we, to a man in the WhatsApp group, just give her absolute shit about it being inbred. That's the only thing that goes on there, apparently, according to us, is just inbreeding. Despite the fact that that film and everything I've seen from her when she goes out with a fella and a daughter, the place looks absolutely stunning, the Isle of Man. I have got an open invite to go over there, so at one point I will go over and see them. I've not seen her in years since she's been over there. But it'd be nice to go and see them. Her daughter's getting older and older all the time. She's not a toddler anymore. She's in school and all kinds of stuff. So it'd be nice to go and say hello. And also just have a bit of a travel around the island and see how nice it looks. I think it'd probably be a non-TT week because it looks like it gets ridiculously busy there. And noisy. Plus, I don't think I'd be able to watch someone going past at 200 mile an hour. My nerves would be fried. Friet is easy to remember too because it's like fried. Yeah, but fried potato, patat. And also it's deep fried, isn't it? So it should be deep fried. Chips with salt and vinegar. Yeah, proper salt and vinegar. Other countries don't get that. Friet should be with mayonnaise or peanut sauce. Have I missed something there? What have we got? Yeah, definitely salt and vinegar. Definitely salt and vinegar. Yeah, mayo. Mayo is nice with chips. It's hard trying to... coming from the Netherlands in the mid-80s, it was hard trying to get people to buy into that. Mayonnaise was something that you had on salads if you had no salad cream, Heinz salad cream. That was it. Wasn't used on anything else as far as I was aware. But yeah, trying to get people to eat mayonnaise on chips, they just thought it was sick. But more people seem to be doing it now, so it must be catching on. And Ronald Koeman, of course, once said, chips without mayonnaise isn't chips. And he expected everyone in Liverpool to understand what he was talking about. No one had a clue, apart from us, sort of lads who understood the Dutch side of things. Steve, yeah, so much vinegar it makes you choke when you breathe in. Absolutely, that's the way it should be. And out of a sort of paper bag, wrapped up, dig in with your hands, get grease all over your hands. Real remoulade goes with everything. I've never had remoulade. It's not weird. Get to my age and half the stuff I haven't tasted. It's ridiculous. Mayonnaise is so versatile. It's good on a broodje croquette. Again, used to be croquette over there. I like that. There was loads of things that the fast food place used to do that I loved. But of course, satay McPinley sauce was just me go-to, and I still to this day love it. And you can't get good stuff over here. Chippies do it nowadays, but it's not the same. Never had kibbeling. No, never had that. Greasy fingers. That's what the paper is for. Wiping them on exactly. And again, sorry, Mandy, but when you leave the football and it's pissing down with rain and it's cold, go and buy a bag of chips or pie and chips and eat them on the way out, on the way to the pub. That's it. When we do move to the new stadium, it's going to be slightly different because I think it's going to be a more sanitised area. There might be fast food places nearby, but it's not going to be the proper old chippies around Bramley Moor. The smell. My first game back, there was a fellow with his 2 kids, and he was eating curry rice and chips, and I could tell by the smell that's exactly what it was, curry rice and chips. It wasn't anything else. It's got a specific smell to it, and I was so pissed off because I wanted that right then at that second, and I couldn't, because to eat them you need to have 2 working hands, and I don't. But yeah, that's part and parcel of going to match. It's the sounds, the smells. It's all part of it, the routine. Yeah, the smell of curry rice and chips and horse shit. Lovely. Kibbeling goes with remoulade. Mayo's the devil's spunk. Never heard it called that before, but I think it's probably slightly tastier than that and less salty, I would have thought. Chips always taste better after a good win, Steve. So I'm reliably informed by people who support teams who actually win games. Can't even dry my sorrows these days because I'm only on non-alcoholic red wine. They're trying to kill me. Everton are trying to kill me, I'm convinced of it. It's that pact, isn't it? If I'd never seen the sunshine, I wouldn't mind the rain. I've seen us win the league twice. I stood there on the terraces and seen us win the league twice. I was there when we won the FA Cup in 1995. I've seen us win the Cup on TV and the Cup Winners' Cup on TV. So, of course, I've seen the best teams we ever had. And now I have to put it with the shit. The smell of thousands of sweaty men. That is such a sexist thing to say, Mandy. There's lots of very fragrant gay men there as well. Lots of women. Everton have a hugely massive proportion of female fans. A lot more than a lot of other clubs, I would have thought. So yeah, it's not just the way it was when I was growing up. When you stood on the street and or the cop and people were pissing in your pockets because they couldn't move. I think they still do that in the cop, to be honest with you, because it's part of the tradition that they love so much. Roll up newspaper, stick into someone's pocket and piss down it. That genuinely is something that used to happen. Which is why Evertonians still call the cop the Hill of Piss, which is what it really is. Some things never change. Never seen a maned wolf. No, Casper, I would like to see one. I like wolves anyway. That's the animals, not the football club, even though I don't really mind them either. Yeah, wolves are cool, aren't they? Especially those ones who've got really blue eyes, like chipped ice. Lovely looking things. There was a good show, a good series programme on National Geographic or Discovery. But some fella that went to the Canadian Arctic to live with wolves. They are incredible things. Bigger than you think as well. I think it was a Twitter or X showed you there was a wolf that was near humans, and I couldn't believe how big it was. Or you're relegated in '85 because we played a weakened team on the last game. like Coventry beat us, which sent you down. I apologise for that. We shouldn't have been doing stuff like that. Mind you, we won the league, lost the FA Cup and won the Cup Winners' Cup, so I think using about 14 players, it would have been the first 11 and Alan Harper and Kevin Richardson. That would have been it, I think. Just those 14 players normally. Steve, you got every right to be better, mate. You should be. I would be. I would carry that cross. I seem to remember us playing against Norwich as well, and there was a song that we used to sing that I'd never heard before. The street end and the park end used to sort of ping pong between them. A yellow bird with a yellow bill landed on my windowsill, coaxed it in with a piece of bread, and then we stood all over its fucking head, and then everyone jumped up and down. Such a strange thing, but it sounded great at the time. I don't mind Norwich. I always kind of like Norwich. I always find them to be a strange team in a good way. So I like that. No less strange when Jeremy Goss was volleying goals in against Bayern Munich or stuff like that. Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Norwich. I don't mind them at all. But then I also don't mind Ipswich, so I have to whisper that carefully. Never seen a cat that looked like an Arctic fox. I've seen a twat that looks like Lawrence Fox. Is that halfway there? Are we halfway there? Are we living on a prayer? Kirsty, you want one? An Arctic fox looking cat. Where are they? Does anyone know? What are they called? So I can go and check one. How do we collect wolves, apart from the fact that... Oh, yeah. Sorry, Mandy, of course. I switched the light off, didn't I? So I think you might have had a snooze round there. Yes, kippers. Let's go and see if kippers will indeed kick ass. Thank you for reminding me. There he is. Yep. There's the man himself.
Kippers kicks ass.
Look at him there. You wouldn't think he was such an opinionated gobshite, would you? There we go. The state of prisons today. This was shamefully stolen from The Guardian. So if anyone from The Guardian's watching, you're supposed to be a left-wing paper, you right-wing lunatics. Criminal gangs in the UK are sending recruits to train as prison officers, union warns. The POA, which I'm presuming is the Prison Officers Association, says corrupt officers are then used for the sole purpose of smuggling in drugs and phones. Kipper says, vet your recruits, you absolute wankers, but then does say it's a boss move though. Which, to be fair, that is a very, very good idea if you're really sneaky that way.
Kippers kicks ass.
Well, there you go. Kipper's kicking ass as usual. He's really opinionated for a bear, isn't he? Jeremy Goss, the last goal scored in the Cop End. Penultimate goal scored in the Cop End. The last real goal. The last ball put into the net at the Cop End was from a lad called John Garner, who used to drink in our pub in Halewood. He was a massive Liverpool fan. And he ran onto the pitch after the game and volleyed a ball into the back of the net. He was wearing a pair of Doc Marten boots. Those boots were then sprayed gold. He's got them somewhere at home. So he officially likes to say he's the scorer of the last goal in the Cop End. He is, of course, also a complete bellend. So, yeah, but most Liverpool fans are, to be honest with you. Norwegian forest cat. At least it's not a lizard trying to steal your joint. By your joint, are you having a smoke, or do you mean lizards are trying to break into your house? Never seen those kind of Arctic foxes are really, really pretty as well, aren't they? So if a cat looks like them, I think it'd be fantastic. I need to watch out for them. What the bloody hell's happening here? Someone push buttons. Horace's haikus. Horace, do you know anything about this? What the hell is going on here? What, just because Kippers has got a slot, you have to have one now, do you? Right, if Kippers put his paw into the fire, would you? Don't say yet, you lying dickhead, you wouldn't. This is ridiculous. Who's in charge of this? I'm not having this at all. Never mind, see your agent. We'll speak to you later. Oh, here we go. Tonight's my debut. I am a poet at heart. I ran out of words. I tried for highbrow. I wanted to impress yous, so I chose haikus. What the bleeding hell is going on here? I'm getting ganged up on by stuffed teddy bears. It's not real at all. It's not right. Shouldn't be happening. This should not be happening. I mean, what's next? What else have we got that's going to end up taking over the show? It's not even a show. It's a live stream. This is not a show. It is like the fucking Muppets, isn't it? Steve, the snotty show. I hope you mean the sooty show. Yes. Horace has hacked the system. I want to know how he's managing to do this, because obviously there's something going on that needs to be sorted out. We can't be having this every week. Where does it end? We're going to end up with them two, aren't I? Looking like Smith and Jones, head to head, just talking away, while I'm sat here looking like a dickhead. Now this is getting nipped in the bud. Horace. He knows I've got his back. That's the worst thing about it. He knows I've got his back. Me and him, we're tight. We're like that. We're brothers, man. We're stuff brothers. No, when I say stuff brothers, I don't mean anything like that, no. But yeah, I will be having words, but he knows really. I can't really ever go with him, can I? He's been there for the last 50 years. He's my brother. He ain't heavy. The hack could have a slot. It does. That's where I put my head into. It is bare chaos. Be Bear Grylls next. Jess might have a clue. For someone who's young, she hasn't got a clue about technology. The same as my nephew. My nephew's 22 this year. Turned 22 this year, I think. Did he? Yeah, he did. For someone who's 22, a 22-year-old male who is constantly gaming, he's got a gaming PC. He knows nothing about anything to do with technology. It's always me. I have to sort everything out. And I'm the 50-year-old. Alright, fair enough. I do come from that generation, the first generation of gamers, the ones that really took computerisation a step further. But even so, don't you learn anything in school? Do not grill Horace or kippers. Kippers should be grilled. That's the healthiest way to have them. Slot in Dutch means castle or lock. I knew it was lock, I didn't realise it was castle. And we still, to this day, we refer to keys as slurtles in this house. Do the dicht jochie. Passes me slurtles, and then we'll have some snoop. Loads of weird words that we keep on using. End. Slot. I'm surprised Horace got me to read that out for him. I would have thought he'd have done it himself. But then for him to do that would have meant coming up with a voice for him, so yeah, maybe not. I don't know where Horace is from. I've had him all these years and I can't work out where he's from, what kind of voice he'd have. What do we think? What kind of voice would Horace have? Does he look like a Cockney villain? One of them really gruff voices, you talking about, you toilet? One of them. That wasn't really gruff, was it? Because my throat's knackered. Yeah. Now I'm talking about. I'll catch you, you slag. I don't know what kind of voice he's got. Maybe he's from Greenwich Village. He might be a New York poet. Could be into freeform jazz and all kinds of stuff. We just don't know these things, do we? Horace is the second coming. Do you know what, Steve? Where do you think the H in Jesus H Christ come from? Jesus, Horace, Christ. There you go. That's where he's come from. He is your overlord, your lord and master. Kippers is Cockney, Horace is posh, do you reckon? Kippers does look like he's called another man a slag before. Definitely. Yeah, we have kept a little bit of Dutch in everyday life. And it gets used a lot. It's always the same little stupid phrases. Like green beans are still sparsy boning, as far as we're concerned. That was one of the issues I had on the ferry, where I have to say to me mum, in English, or in Scouse, to me ma, mum, what's the English word for sparsy boning? And she went, they're green beans, love. And the fella that was serving them looked at me like I was a dickhead. So if you are English, why don't you know the English word for them? But then again, that was where the woman said to me, your English is quite good. So they were all convinced I was Dutch rather than English. Kippers must be from the coast. He must be. Got to be, hasn't he? Do you reckon he might have stowed away on a ship from somewhere, on a tramp steamer? I can imagine him actually being a fisherman with a little bow tie or whatever it is they put around the neck, dressed, ready to go out on the North Sea. I don't know why, but I'm suddenly seeing him in a beret as well. I don't think it'd suit a beret, because he's not French. Doesn't look French. Doesn't look like that French thing about him. Definitely, he's got a bit of Cockney about him. Maybe, yeah, he's a Cockney who used to go cockling at South End and Margate. A smock, yeah, he'd suit a smock. I've got a smock somewhere, but it's more of a Liam Gallagher smock. My coat that I'm going to wear on Saturday, I must admit, when I wear that, it's very, very Liam Gallagher-esque, and I do walk a bit more staggery. I don't think Kippers or Horace either. Neither of them seem to be very American. They both seem to be quite British. I think Horace might be slightly posh or pretends to be posh. I think he goes to the golf club. I think he drives a Volvo. He's that kind of fella, might be a social climber, someone who wants to move up. Definitely wears golf jumpers. I can imagine him in a salmon pink or yellow Lyle and Scott golf jumper. I really can imagine that. I can imagine him and Rupert the Bear going for high tea and scones at the golf club. They love them kind of people, don't they? I also can imagine Kippers doing an armed robbery, sawn off shotgun, bouncing through the doors of Ladbrokes. Give me the money, you slags. So yeah, Mayfair people, they're the ones. Kippers could be a Wurzel. I don't know about that. Maybe he could. Does he look like he drink loads of Zoider? Does he look like a Zoider drinker? I don't know. Maybe he's from New York as well. Grab a coffee, we'll talk. He could be anywhere, couldn't he? It'd be a letdown, wouldn't it, if you're both Scouse. Although Horace, to be honest with you, Horace was given to me in Wrexham, so Horace could well be North Walian. But was he given to me by someone in North Wales, or was he given to me by someone in Liverpool and then taken to North Wales? Yeah, that's weird, that Steve, isn't it? How do people from East Anglia sound similar to people from the West Country and Bristol? There's no connection between the two places, as far as I can see. Maybe there is. Yeah, weird. But then I suppose people from Yorkshire and Lancashire sound broadly similar. Slight differences. A Bristolian fireman that is secretly starting the fires. That would not surprise me in the slightest. Kippers looks to have some skeletons in the closet. I mean, he's a dodgy boiler. He really is. Puts out with cider, definitely. Or a Zoider. He likes putting things in Zoider. It's closest, but we're a bit slower. I like the fact that the UK, I was going to say England, the UK has got so many different accents, because it isn't just England, it is the UK. I mean, Wales, North Wales, the whole of the North Wales coast has got a slightly Scouse accent, but it doesn't sound anything like the South Coast. You know, if you go to the likes of Newport and Cardiff and Swansea, they don't sound like Conwy, Llandudno, Rill, Prestatyn, Colomendy. Oh, there's a word to put shivers down your spine. Draw your words out. Yeah, I like that. It's good as well. There shouldn't be just a generic accent, which is the thing that I'm worried about. The world is going to end up with a generic English accent, which is going to be American, and it doesn't suit it. Like how do we mention that you don't like your voice when you speak in English? I love the way the Dutch speak English. We've got loads of mates who all have a Dutch English accent, and I love it. I think it sounds fantastic. The same with camp Germans. I mean, thanks to the League of Gentlemen, every German sounds vaguely camp to me now. Especially people like Daniel Farke and these football managers, they all sound slightly like hair lip. They are very, very dodgy. Don't waste the Zoider. Drink it now. Bristol seems a good place. It seems quite cool, actually. It's probably the same as a lot of the cities in the UK where it's dangerous and it's got its dodgy areas, which every city has. But it seems quite cool, quite sound. Good music, obviously with the trip hop stuff that came from there, all Massive Attack and Portishead and what have you. Tricky. But it seems quite cool. Gary Clayle and the On-U sound system and all the dub and reggae sound systems that used to go out. Yeah, I think Bristol might be a decent place to go to. The four-eyed flasher. Isn't that a fish? Tropical fish. I think your voice in your head sounds different than your accent when you actually... But we'll change the voice in your head because it sounds good. I like the way the Dutch speak English. Yes, Daniel Farke is definitely ridiculously camp. So is David Wagner. Klopp is just an absolute knob. I picked me dad up and his mates from the pub last week, and I had my baseball cap and my glasses on. And my dad's mate Les got in the back of the car. He was a big Evertonian as well. Said, when I thought it was Klopp picking us up then, I've never felt so deflated in my life. So the following week when I picked him up, I was wearing a beanie rather than a baseball cap. Not looking like Klopp, he's an absolute tit. Well, I can imagine him and Daniel Farke playing air guitar to the Scorpions together. They meet up on a Sunday after the game and play heavy metal. And they have like the German football fans they have that weird thing where they have a leather jacket and they have a denim jacket over the top of it with the sleeves cut out. All the patches on the back of the denim jacket and then leather sleeves. It's just the most pervy looking thing. And they all do sound like really dodgy camp German pervs. I blame Hairlip definitely for that in the League of Gentlemen. From Duisburg. Ugh, horrible. There's been a few of them over here, isn't there? The voice in your head is Stephen Fry's voice. That is not a bad thing to have, Casper. He does speak very well. He has got a very, very imperious voice, hasn't he? Booming. I don't even know what the voice in my head is half the time. I think sometimes it'll be Matt Berry as Toast in Toast of London. I'd love to be able to do that voice. His intonation, it sounds stupid. He's brilliant in House of Fools with Vic and Bob, by the way, if anyone's watching and you haven't seen that. House of Fools, Vic Reeves, Bob Mortimer, Matt Berry. What a triumvirate. Dan Renton Skinner is in it as well, very good. And Daniel, what's his name? He's a Norwegian. He's got a Norwegian name. It's not Iversen or Sorensen, it's something like that though, isn't it? Very, very funny. Stupid, brilliantly stupid. Needs to be watched. Yeah, Matt Berry. It is What We Do in the Shadows voice. If you like that, try and watch Toast of London, where he plays a sort of an out-of-work actor who just keeps doing voiceovers. It's the only work he can get. It is ridiculously funny, and Matt Berry is superb. Brilliant in House of Fools as Beef Galore, but also as Toast of London. Superb. Stephen Fry is a very camp German. Stephen Fry does a very camp everywhere. He does them voices very well. He's also a bloody good actor. When you see him in Blackadder, he was really good at the different styles that he did. I was watching one the other day where he was in Blackadder the Third. He was the Duke of Wellington, and he plays him brilliantly. Of course, he played Melchett in Blackadder 2, where he was softly spokenish and toadian and not bombastic at all. All of a sudden, he was doing Wellington and then General Melchett, where he, Brr. How can anything be funny when it's just someone shouting bar? But it is. He's brilliant at it. Love that. He's superb as General Melchett. Yep, morning, darling. That is a joke that no matter how many times he did it, it just didn't stop being funny. The same as Trigger in Only Fools and Horses calling Rodney Dave. It should have stopped being funny after so many times, but it doesn't. And they never pushed it too far in Blackadder. As soon as you mentioned Darling, and that's the reason why every time you mention Darling, he twitches. He must have had that all his life. People taking the piss out of his name. Absolutely brilliant. What a great idea. And that, of course, his name wasn't written as Darling, was it? They come up with that in the read-throughs, and it was Stephen Fry who said that should be his name. So, Norfolk's own Stephen Fry is to blame, or is responsible for Darling being called Darling. Brilliant. What a genius move that is. Blackadder, what a great show that is. The first series was a bit shit, wasn't it? Let's face it. But the next three, Toast of London, Ray Purchase, I love that character. What an another genius bit of casting. Absolutely superb, and the fact that he's always permanently pissed off with Toast, because Toast is shagging his wife. Yeah, I think I'd be annoyed with that as well, but it's brilliant. Just the way they hate each other, always trying to tear each other down, brilliant. And of course, Ray Purchase is the greatest high wind actor of our generation. Well worth watching. I'm going to have to watch Toast of London as well, aren't I? Kippers, wipe that shite off your whiteboard. I'm going to have to write some stuff down here now, lad. No answering back. I'm already pissed off with you two. Yep. David McCallum, Ducky to so many NCIS fans, which is weird because I always knew him as David McCallum because he was in so many things that I remember growing up. But yeah, that was such a massive character to have later on in your career, and to have so many people know you from that one thing. Funnily enough, Jess rang me this week when Michael Gambon died, and I'd seen on Twitter and on TV people paying homage to him. He was brilliant in The Singing Detective. He was great on stage, great Shakespearean actor. The only man to have ever had a corner named after him on the Top Gear track. And Jess rang me up and went, "Oh, Dad, Dumbledore's died." I thought, you know what? He had a career, an absolutely stellar career, as a hugely respected actor. And Harry Potter is such a massive thing that that's all he'll ever be known for. He will always be Dumbledore. In the same way that she rang me when Robbie Coltrane died. I said, "Oh, Dad, Hagrid's died." I'm thinking, no, it's not Hagrid. It's Robbie Coltrane. He was in Cracker. You know, he was Cracker. He was the bouncer in The Young Ones. He was Dr. Johnson in Blackadder. He was Davy, the bus driver in Still Game. He's been in all these fantastic shows. Cracker, he was... Not only was he brilliant in that, there's also a real-life true crime thing on ID, or Crime and Investigation, where Robbie Coltrane looks into true life crimes as well, because it was such a popular programme. He is known for everything, but all he'd ever be known for now is Hagrid. So if you're anything to do with Harry Potter and you die, that's all you'll ever be known for, because it's such a huge thing. Jess also said, well, it was 82 or something, wasn't he? I went, yeah. So, well, he had a good life, but you'd think Maggie Smith would have died before him. Yeah, you would have done, wouldn't you? But try not to kill any more of the cast with your bad wishes, Jess, know what I mean? It's funny that just how big that film series is. Ian Brown from the Stone Roses, of course, appeared in one of them, didn't he? He was in a cafe at the start and was stirring his tea with a long finger. Just a very strange cameo. Yeah. In the list of strange cameos, Robbie Williams was in an episode of Only Fools and Horses. He was at the Nag's Head, he was stood at the bar with a long wig, and one of his own songs was playing on a jukebox. This is not going to get me anywhere in life, but I know these things. I don't know my own name, or where I parked my car. I can't use my hand. I had to go for a pee on yesterday even, and then I couldn't do me tie up on me combat kicks, me cargo pants afterwards. So I was walking around looking like some hip 15-year-old with my arse showing. But yeah, I know these things. I know who appeared in stupid shows for no reason. Because that's how I am. But yeah. Ducky. Yeah, what a great thing to have after having a long career. If you can suddenly be in a show that's massive and play a part that will absolutely cement you forever. Just that's it now. Doesn't matter what happens. His family will be able to look and go, fans all over the world will remember him exactly for that one character, if nothing else. I don't know, the NCIS shows like that, did he have like conventions like Comic Con where everyone turns up dressed as superheroes and what have you? I would think the likes of NCIS would have conventions where people turn up probably dressed as him in the lab coat. Not that I watch NCIS, but it used to be on in the house all the time. Because my mum and dad seem to watch the same shite over and over again. CSI Miami, NCIS, Lewis, Morse, Vera, all the same utter shite. You can tell exactly who's done it half an hour before the programme starts. And then I've got every streaming site known to humanity. I mean, every single one that you can think of. And I've put it on my dad's phone, so he can literally play anything, stream it through the Chromecast. The Sky Q has got most of them on there now. Netflix, Amazon Prime, BritBox, Paramount Plus, Discovery Plus, everything you can think of. ITVX, All 4, whatever it was now, Channel 4. All of these things, and I say, have a look what's on there. And then they'll just sit and watch the same shite constantly. And my dad falls asleep of a night watching a film. So he started watching John Wick, one of the John Wick films. And he says it doesn't matter, he's seen it hundreds of times. You can fall asleep at one point and just press start the following day. And he hasn't missed a single bit of it. He knows exactly where he's up to. You like that when they did the Ducky flashbacks. The actor who played him in his youth looked like Ilya Kuryakin. Hey. Of course, that's the character that I remember him from myself, even though it's before my times, really. Of course, we'd know shows like that. People of our age would know people like that from those shows. I would think as well, speaking about how much the character looked like him, my dad was watching Van der Valk, the reboot of it with Mark Warren. And I always think Mark Warren should have been in a show or a film where Malcolm McDowell was his dad, because they look so much like each other. They should have played dad and lad at some point, and if they never do, or never did, such a shame. Absolute ringers for each other. Yeah, Comic Con, Paramount Plus, Star Trek. I've got a love-hate relationship with Star Trek. The old one, my dad used to play it occasionally, and I didn't mind it. And then the Picard series, was it Next Generation? I sort of didn't mind it, but it's not a show I can watch. I wouldn't sit down and think about watching Star Trek. And possibly, if I just watch one of the films, because they're on a Sunday now, aren't they? I might actually like it. But I was never a big Star Wars fan either. Not huge on sci-fi stuff, despite the fact that I love Red Dwarf. Strange. And also, my favourite author of all time is Ian Banks, and he does books as Ian Banks, which are normal novels, but he also does books as Ian M. Banks, and they're all sort of sci-fi-ish culture novels. They're called, and I absolutely love them as well, despite the fact that they've got the sci-fi aspect to them. So maybe I shouldn't be as picky or as knobheady about them. Comic-Con's a bit of a weird one. Seeing some of those people, it's like, seriously, how much have you spent on your outfits? How long have you taken getting ready, looking like that? And is it really worth it for a TV show? Says the man sat here wearing a bleeding Soviet-era hat and my Everton top. On Amazon Prime. Good. Oh, I still haven't got to watch the second series of Good Omens as well. That's another one that needs to go on the whiteboard. I love the first series of that, despite the fact I haven't read any of the books. Never read a Terry Pratchett book ever, but I loved the first series of Good Omens. So I need to get round to watching the second series. Those two work so well together. You can tell they're mates, can't you? In everything they've been in together, you can tell they're mates. Michael Sheen and David Tennant, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Of course, they were brilliant and staged. Absolutely love that. I might have to watch that again soon too. This whiteboard's going to be full, isn't it? And I won't get round to watching a single thing of it. Because Kipper's the bell end is going to wipe it off and put something stupid on there for next week. Or Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how fatigued I am. And whether there's any interest, of course. If people want to still listen to this stupid voice of mine. We'll soon find out though. Amazon Prime, I need to check that out. It just seems to be loads of stuff on there and I haven't bothered seeing any of it. I've also got Plex on my phone as well, which is quite good. Loads of mad stuff on there that is really good to watch. And on Amazon Prime I also pay for the BFI. Pay for that monthly as well, so I've got loads of old films which I like. Heathen. Read Good Omens, it's your favourite book. One day I might get round to it. Can't promise anything, but I've got loads of stuff I need to read. I never get the time. What a stupid thing to say. I have loads of time to read them, but I normally fill my days up with stupid stuff. And then that night I'll be lying in bed thinking I could have done so much more than twat about the house all day. But I'll never learn, will I? The book is so good you give it 3 O's, that's a good sign. A 3-0 rating is so good. I may well, I'll see if I can have a look on Amazon. I might pick it up, and if it's shite, I am blaming you. Not that it's going to be shite, obviously. But, what I will say now, don't expect me to turn into one of those Pratchett wankers. It's not happening. I don't get fanboyish over many things in life. Ian Banks I might have done. Because I read his stuff just absolutely religiously for years. I'd go back and reread things and I felt like those books were written specifically for me. Nobody else, just me. Because he just nailed it completely. So, yeah. Ian Banks I might have fangirled. Plus he's a really good left-wing fella. Knows how things should be to look after each other. Brilliant taste in music, as well as being a brilliant author. He is the man that I was destined to grow into. Plus, his books always went brilliantly with music. So there's a couple of them. I think Wit might be one of them, and Esplanade Street I think was another one, or Canal Dreams one of them two. The American Soft Parade. I listened to them. They're a duo from two brothers from Brighton, indie band. Loved listening to them. Reading Ian Banks. It fit perfectly. Tammy Hogue is a good author. Again, these are things I might just keep an eye out for. I'm not going to write anything down. I'll look back to the chat at some point. Your copy is falling to pieces. That is a good sign. A sign of a well-leafed book, a well-thumbed tome. Very good. If it was still pristine, it'd be shite, wouldn't it? I'm like that with the Ragged Trouser Philanthropists. A book that I would, if I am ever going to get planted, if I get buried rather than cremated, which I don't know what I'm going to do yet, might not be up to me. If I do get buried, I want a copy of that thrown in the coffin with me. Not that it's going to go anywhere, but it's going in with me. The Department Q books by Jussi Adler-Olsen. New on me. That's one of the good things about these chats as well. You learn things. The same when I'm reading Dan's chats. There's always something in there that I didn't realise or didn't know. But I will still say, nah, not doing Nightwish. Sorry. Not for me. It's not my thing. You have books stashed everywhere, Mandy, do you? Kirsty, you do as well, don't you? Remember seeing you put pictures up of boxes and boxes of the stuff. Always good. Nice having books. Nice to have a mind, an active mind. That's one of the problems of having a house that you rent. If it was somewhere that we owned, I would have built-in bookshelves and record shelves, and I would fill the bleeding lot. But unfortunately, we can't do it because it's someone else's house. That's something that's weird as well. Yeah? The people over the road have sold their house. Lovely couple, lovely family. And the people who are buying it have bought it to live in for 6 months while their actual house is being done up. At which point they will sell it and move into their old house. Bizarre. Do we not have Kindles? Yes, Steve, I've got 4 of them, which I bought from the Two Ronnies store in New Zealand. 4 Kindles. Yep. I've got the Kindle app on my phone, and I never get around to watching it really, or reading it rather. But I've got my iPad, which as soon as that dies, I'm going to smash it into a million pieces. I am never ever going to fork out for another piece of Apple shite again in my life. I'll keep my work phone because they pay for it, not me, but nah, not doing it. Hey, Mandy, you have your Grandad Zane Grey books in the loft. Colonel Potter's favourite in MASH, by the way. Kirsty has 1,000 books, over 1,000 books on your Kindle. Are they all in Moldovan or Romanian or whatever they speak in Moldova? Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy is on your shelf. Have you ever read it? Has anyone read Tolstoy? Has anyone ever read War and Peace? Anyone you know ever read it? I think I bought it when I was a 15-year-old because you want to look, cool to the chicks. You know what I mean, man? Never got around to reading it. I think it got used for, I don't know, my mum standing on it so she could reach the cupboards probably, knowing how thick it was. Just in plain English. Colonel Potter, what a man he is. Steve, he is absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that he's a father figure to everybody in the camp. But he's always on the edge of losing it slightly and never goes too far. So he blows up occasionally. I think he's a fantastic character, played by a brilliant actor. But the way he looks after his staff, superb. Even the times when he's fell out with them, like when his mate ended up costing people's lives and Hawkeye wasn't happy with him. They still made up at the end. So, yeah, I know, you were right, I was wrong, but don't push it. Yeah. Daniel, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Nice. Yeah, I do look like a character from a letter to the Brezhnev. That's on the BFI player, funnily enough. I've got a voice for it, like, know what I mean, Achid? It's a great film now. I haven't watched this since the 1980s, and it's there, it's available. I should watch it. Another one where Liverpool looks horrible, because it was at the time, before the place got done up and European money was spent on it. But yeah, what a great film. There was another one back then as well called Dancing Through the Dark, which was another great film, another Liverpool film. If I remember rightly, I think Elvis Costello was in it as a magician. And loads of Liverpool comedians were in it, and musicians, Joey Kay and people like that. Fantastic. Is it me? I need to yell, I am invincible. I feel far from invincible, mate, I really do. It's needed soon. I've been sat here, haven't I, on my streams for the last month, pissing with sweat because it's been too hot. Now I'm here, I've got the heating on down there, and I've got this on. This, by the way, is not support for Russia in the war against Ukraine, in case anyone's watching. Not at all. It's just I love Russian iconography. All those old communist posters. Some of the stories behind them might not have been right. The messages might be completely wrong, but stylistically they look fantastic. So I do love me Russian iconography. I also love me Russian and British spy stuff. Talking of books, we had Spycatcher by Peter Wright, which was banned in this country, and we only got it because we went to Los Angeles in 1988, and my mum picked up a copy at the airport where they were allowed to sell it. So that's stayed in the family ever since. I love that. And then I read Next Stop Execution by Oleg Gordievsky. It was a Russian KGB agent who was working for the Brits. So reading the same things that had happened, but from two separate viewpoints, was absolutely fascinating. And of course, he now lives in the UK. After all these years, he still has to have an assumed identity, because the Russians will still kill him if they get a chance, because he cheated on them with his behaviour, and they hate that, don't they? Yeah. It's a deep bout of Stalin. The Death of Stalin, another one, by the way, another fantastic film, which I love. All Armando Iannucci's films are great. The personal history of David Copperfield is fantastic. That needs to be watched. And The Death of Stalin, fantastic. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I watched the film of that. Have we seen the film that was made? Was it 2012 or 2002? It was some way back. It is the creme de la creme of British acting talent. It is absolutely incredible, the amount of people that they had in there, top actors. And then I went back and watched the old TV show. Again, absolutely superb. Love all stuff like that. The Man Who Came In From the Cold, Richard Burton, all the Harry Palmer stuff with Michael Caine. Fantastic films. Definitely love that kind of stuff. BritBox is good for them. I like watching the occasional old film on BritBox. We Dive at Dawn. I watched that not too long ago. Again, while my mum and dad were watching something shite like Vera or Morse, there's nothing good on. I know there isn't. That's why I'm watching all these old films. That Talking Pictures TV on Sky, if you've got it, channel 328. All the old films that they show are fantastic. I love stuff like that. Old black and white films. Struggling to sleep overnight, just stick one on, watch how shite or how brilliantly shite they are, and then you can relax and drift off into unconsciousness. Brilliant. There's a museum of banned books in Moldova, is there? Thank you, Daniel. No problem. Hope you had a good day, familying. Safe trip back, and thank you for joining us. Battle of the River Plate, Steve. Yeah, that was one I watched recently as well. That's what was that on? Don't know if that was BritBox. Might have been. That's another fantastic film, and I love all the ones that are based on reality, real stuff that happened. As well, especially if they are true to what happened. Of course, that U-57, whatever it was, the film in which the Americans found the Enigma machine years after the Brits had found it. In fact, we found it before they joined the war. I hate the rewriting of history. Right, I'm going to have to go because the daughter is ringing. In fact, sorry, should we answer? We'll answer while I'm live on here. What up, G?
Hello?
What up? What's up?
Would you have to pick us up?
Yes, we're live on the stream at the moment, but I'm going to end the stream now and pick you up. Where are you?
At the place where you dropped us off.
You're at the place where I dropped you off.
Yeah, say hi to the stream for me, by the way.
Right, stream. Hello, stream. Jess said hello. Stream is saying hi back to you.
Thanks, stream.
Thanks, stream. It's appreciated, bro. Right,
Liv also said hi.
Liv. Her mate Liv also said hi. Hi, stream from Liv. Okay. Right, I will come and pick you up now. I will end the stream. I will come and pick you up, and I'm not going to get changed. What you see is what you get. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bizzle.
Bye.
Boy. Well, there you go. Yes. Liv, I'll tell Liv that you said hi. This means I'm now picking him up. I've got to drop Liv off. I think she lives in Ainsdale. So I will be back a little later. Thank you very much for joining us. And that wasn't planned. Neither was Piss and Horace. Feels like everyone's getting involved in this tonight. It's not Swap Shop. It's not Multicoloured Swap Shop. I'm not Noel Edmonds. This shit needs to stop. Thank you very much. Wel te rusten, Hadewig. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you later. Bizzle, faux shizzle.